Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is August 10th, 2021. Um, I want to talk about a story that happened back in 2015. I don't know if you guys probably don't know who this person is right here. Her name is Mitchelle Blair. She is a mother from Detroit who supposedly killed her two children because she discovered that her two children were molesting her youngest son. And she killed them and then stuffed them in a freezer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a video of her case, and the guy in the video he's gonna break down exactly what happened to her, and then I'm gonna show you guys how this is another ritual, and it's really disgusting what they do to people. Because I've seen these cases before where, like for example, the Justice for Junior case, that was also by the numbers. I'll talk about that at the end. But it's disgusting what they do to black people, how they portray us to be these monsters on TV. And if you're not aware of gematria, you're gonna buy into the story. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought this was real. When I saw the first video of Michelle Blair's case, I was like, man, how is a person capable of doing this to her own children? But then I said, you know what? Let me look into it and not, buy into the narrative that the mainstream is putting out there. So let me just play this video. It's only 9 minutes, and then we'll get into the decode.
Why did you take the decision to pile the bodies on top of each other in a freezer?
What do you mean?
Why did you do that?
Well, I only had one deep freezer. I mean, take the decision to pile the bodies on top of each other. Where's she gonna go?
And you
I'm not gonna lie, she's a pretty good actor. She's a really good actor.
feel no remorse for that?
I would kill him again.
On March 24th, 2015, 36 district court officials were on their way to perform a routine eviction of a tenant who was residing at 804 St. Aubin Street, Detroit, Michigan. Due to the tenant's absence, court officials were authorized to enter and remove furniture and personal belongings from the home. Everything was going according to schedule as court officials began the process of eviction. Little did they know the horror that was about to be uncovered. As officials cleared the residence, they happened upon a white deep freezer located in the living room area of the home. When opened, they found the body of a teenage girl wrapped in a large plastic bag. When police arrived at the residence, they made another grisly discovery: the body of a boy wrapped in a blanket beneath her. What was supposed to be a civil issue became a case of double homicide, and the frantic search for the tenant, Mitchell Angela Blair, was in full effect. A quick inquiry with neighbors revealed that Blair was located at another neighbor's house with her two children. It was noted that Blair's other two children, Stephen Barry and Stony Blair, had been missing for quite some time. After police located her, they detained her for questioning. Soon after, she was placed under arrest for murder. Meanwhile, the bodies were identified to be the bodies of Blair's missing children, Stephen Barry and Stony Blair. The medical examiner ruled their deaths as homicides, and that based on the manner in which the bodies were found, they had been in the freezer for at least a couple of years. Now in police custody, Mitchell Blair confesses to the murders of her two children, whom she referred to as demons, after finding out that they were molesting and raping her youngest son. However, the claims of sexual abuse were never substantiated by any evidence or eyewitness accounts.
Miss Blair, what did you do to Stony Blair that makes you guilty of premeditated murder?
She raped my son. I intentionally killed her.
How How did you do that?
Starting from the beginning.
Blair went on to describe her 2012 discovery of the acts of sexual abuse conducted against her youngest child by Stoney and Stephen. According to Blair, she found her youngest child simulating sexual activities using dolls. When she asked, "Why are you doing that? Did anyone ever do this to you?" the child stated that her brother Stephen had. She then went upstairs to confront Stephen. After he had confessed, she began to kick and punch him and even placed a plastic bag over his head until he lost consciousness. Additionally, she repeatedly poured scalding hot water over his genitals, causing severe burns and his skin to fall off as a result. She later made Stephen drink Windex and choked him with a belt while asking him,
"Do you like how this feels, being choked with a belt?" So I dropped him. I held him up until he lost consciousness as well.
The beatings and torture continued for 2 weeks until Stephen tragically succumbed to his injuries around August 30th, 2012. In a panic, Blair wrapped Stephen in his favorite blanket and placed him in the deep freezer. 9 months later, Blair found out that Stoney was also sexually assaulting her youngest son. She began to starve Stoney and brutally beat her as punishment. Stoney also met a tragic death as a result of her mother's beatings and torture. Mitchell Blair then wrapped Stoney's body in a plastic bag and stuffed her in the freezer on top of her brother, Stephen. After Stoney's murder, Blair was about to turn herself in to the authorities, however decided not to after her youngest child pleaded for her not to go. Mitchell Blair went on to live in the house with her surviving children as if nothing ever happened, only feet away from the bodies of her own children, whom she had discarded as trash into the deep freezer. Due to unfortunate circumstances, the children's absence went unnoticed by family and school officials. Mitchell Blair withdrew her kids from public schools and told officials that she would be homeschooling them. They had absentee fathers and family members were estranged. Blair always had an excuse for her children's whereabouts when inquired by neighbors. This went on for the next few years until Blair stopped paying her rent and was evicted by her landlord as a result. During a series of court proceedings, Mitchell Blair pleaded guilty to the murders of her 2 children in a courtroom full of onlookers. With a cold and heartless stare, she told the judge that she felt absolutely no remorse for what she had did, and that she would kill them again if she had the opportunity. On June 2015, Mitchell Blair was charged with 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, and is now serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole in Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Ypsilanti, Michigan. By design, a mother is supposed to protect, nurture, and raise her children. It goes against conventional instinct when a mother causes harm or trauma to her children. Unfortunately, this is all that Stephen and Stoney knew. This was their reality. What compelled a mother to murder her own children will never be understood. The murder of an innocent child is inconceivable, much less when that child is your own. Mitchell Blair committed a heinous act, and as a result of her madness, took the lives of 2 children who will never have the chance to tell their side of the story. The truth is, real monsters don't have claws, sharp teeth, or superpowers. Real monsters can be your neighbor, a friend, or your own mother.
All right, enough with the propaganda. All right, so let's find out what really happened in this story. If you're a black person, this should disturb you, because I don't, in a way, I don't know who to blame, because this character Mitchelle Blair, she's a black woman, and she's participating in this propaganda. So it's just like, this is why the mainstream gets away with this stuff, because they have black people turn against their own. If she doesn't participate in this propaganda, then none of this stuff happens. It's not possible. I know when if you guys listening to that video, it seems very real. It seems like all this stuff is true, but none of this stuff is true, guys. Trust me when I tell you. If you guys are, if you in your spare time, look into the testimony and the court videos. I can't show those videos here because those videos are from the mainstream, but listen to the court proceedings of the Mitchelle Blair case, and you're just gonna see right through it if you're awake. If you're not awake, then you're gonna believe it. But look, so most of the news sources, they're calling her a monster. That's like the top headline in almost every news source. They're also calling her Freezer Mom, which is also coded. But monster. Think about the beast. Satan. And notice her name, Mitchelle Blair, is 66 and 87, just like Number of the Beast. And they keep calling her a monster, beast. The word beast is 47, and that's a big number in this ritual. Notice she was born on May 10th, 1979. Right now she's 42, but when she's supposed to be committed to these acts, she was only 35 years old. The Catholic number. But she was born on May 10th, and according to the news, notice this paragraph here. It says, Blair has been behind bars since the gruesome discovery at her home in March 2015. Court officers carrying out an eviction at the family's apartment on Detroit's east side found the children's bodies covered in plastic on March 24th, 2015 in a deep freezer. So they found the bodies on March 24th, 2015, and notice from the day that they discovered the bodies to what would have been her upcoming birthday, they found the bodies 47 days before her birthday, and that's a very important number to the Masons. Remember, the Freemason compass is set at 47 degrees. That's why in that video you saw the police cruiser number 47 right in front of the house. I don't know if you guys caught that. They had a big police cruiser number 47 right in front of the home where they supposedly found the two children at. If you learn these numbers, you're going to see right through these bullshit stories. But what I'm saying is this stuff is disgusting because think about what this makes. This makes the black community look like monsters. I think that's what this is all about. But look, so they found the bodies 47 days before her birthday, and notice Freezer Mom. That's what they've been calling her in almost all the news sources. If you do a Google search for Freezer Mom, she comes up. Freezer Mom is 47. The term freezer is 47 in the most pure cipher. And her daughter, one of the people that she said that she didn't, she said that she killed two of her children, right? She said that the only one that she intended on killing was Stony Blair. And notice the name Stony Blair is 47. They found Stony Blair's body 47 days before the mother's birthday. She's saying that Steven, the 9-year-old, she killed him by accident. She was just trying to torture him. This is all bullshit story. This is all propaganda. Look at this. So, and they put up the same numbers that we talk about every day. They put it in these type of stories as well. Look, the number 38. Look right here. Look, 38. It says that Blair received 38 months to 5 years in prison for each count to be served concurrently to each other, but consecutively to the life sentences. 38 months. And keep in mind that they found it on what is March 24th? March 24th is the 83rd day of the year. The 83rd day of the year. Those of you that are not aware what the number 83 means, I'm going to explain it. But notice, right? Death is 38. She's supposed to be got 38 months for each count. 38 months to 5 years for each count to run consecutively with her 2 life sentences. So death is 38, murder, killing, R.I.P. is all 38. And then, they're saying that she killed a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. This is the Masons behind this ritual. Freemasonry is 139. She's guilty of killing a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. Right? Look up March 24th. March 24th is the 83rd day of the year. And in Gematria, murder equals 83. The term murder is 83. That's why the song Murder by Numbers came out in 1983. Murder is also 38. 47. This is a big 47 ritual. I'm going to go back to that video so you guys can see the big 47 cruiser right in front of her home. The big monster. The woman with the name that connects to the number of the beast. And I'll give her credit because she did a pretty decent job. But if you're awake, you're not gonna buy. I mean, no mother is gonna. If you watch any of her interviews, it's so obvious that it's fake. How can a mother be this calm about it? Like, you just killed two of your children and just acting like nothing happened. The reason you're able to act that way is because you're acting. If it was a real story, she'll be breaking down. I mean, no mother. I don't care if I don't care what your children do. If you are a mother and you kill your 2 children, you're not gonna be this relaxed. She is very relaxed in almost every interview that she did, and it's because she's doing a ritual. Just to show you guys that these stories that this was mainstream news, but this was in 2015, so a lot of us never heard of it because this code was pretty much new to the community back in 2015. But let me remind you what they did with Lisandro Guzman. This was a Bronx kid that got stabbed by local gang members in front of a store. This was a big Jesuit ritual. And on TV, this looks very real. I mean, the family all cooperated. And this is what I mean. The more, if the family, these Hispanics and these black people cooperate with these racial divisive stories, this is why our community gets depicted the way that it does. Think about people like George Floyd and Eric Garner. These are all black people participating in these propaganda, racial divisive stories. The George Floyd and the Eric Garner is no different than Lisandro Guzman, than Mitchelle, Blair. There's no different. All these people are actors. They are put there to carry out a script. Look, so this guy here, he got stabbed. He was I think he was 14 years old. His death was also connected to the Yankees. Oh man, I know if you guys are watching this for the first time, you're like, what? How is his death connected to the Yankees? What is this guy talking about? It's connected to the Yankees. This is how this stuff works. They connected to the sports. They mocked the people with the sports games. Because the day that this kid died, the Yankees were playing the Seattle Mariners and they won 5-7. And this kid died on, look how old he was when he passed away. He was born November 11th. He died on June 20th. He was exactly 5,700 days old. And the mainstream said that he was a big Yankees fan. And on the same day that he died, the Yankees win 5-7. But the kid died 228 days, 5,700 days. That's how long he was alive from his birth to his death date. But from his last birthday to his death date, he died 228 days after his birthday. And of course, his death is 228. And notice his full name in gematria, Lisandro Guzman Feliz. His full name is 228. He died 228 days after his birthday. And this wasn't that big of a story. But it just showed you how they do stuff like this by the numbers. And of course, his death is also 228. But notice the family. Again, this was connected to the Yankees. His family decided to wear Yankee jerseys at his funeral, supposedly because he was a big Yankees fan. But that's not the real reason. The real reason they wore Yankee jerseys is because New York Yankees in gematria, it equates to 187, and that is a big number with the Jesuits because Society of Jesus is 187. That's why the church that held his funeral was held at 187th Street in the Bronx. And remember when I said he was 5,700 days old? What is 5,700 days? That's equivalent to 187 months. So the kid was also alive for 187 months. And the day that they had his funeral, that was a couple of days after his death on June. Actually, I said that he died. He didn't die on the 27th. His funeral was held on the 27th. He died on the 20th. Excuse me. So here you're going to see June 20th. He died on June 20th, but his funeral was held 228 days after his birthday, and his name is 228. But his funeral was held on June 27, 2018. That's the day leaving 187 days in a year. 187, the Society of Jesus number. So that goes to show you how, even this story was by the numbers. So they do these, these, I guess you could call it local stories, these local rituals that a lot of the country don't know about. Only the people in that area. A lot of the people in the United States don't know about this story. But this was another Jesuit ritual. Like a lot of people probably never heard of Michelle Blair. A lot of people probably never heard of her, never seen her before, never heard of this story. But a lot of the people in Detroit heard about it. I mean, her videos and her interviews got millions of views on YouTube. But the thing is, this is causing a disturbance to the community, to the black community. Not only this story, but the Eric Garners, the George Floyds, and all the other cases. They're making us look, I mean, come on. She's not, no, whatever. Something else, right? So the day that they supposedly found the bodies, that was the day with 42 numerology. 42 date numerology. March 24th, 15. 324 plus 15 equals 42. Now notice her name in gematria. I mean, these people are they code the same numbers around all these stories. Look, her name is Michelle. Michelle equals 42 in gematria. Her surname, Blair. Another 42 name. Look what else is 42. The N-word is 42. Slavery, which is always going to continue unless these people stop cooperating with these rituals. Stop participating in. That's the only way we're going to stop all this. People like George Floyd and Eric Garner and Michelle Blair and Lisandro Guzman have to say no. Or after they do it, confess. You know what? I never killed my children. This was a ritual by the Freemasons. They told me to do it. And this is the proof. More people start doing that, this stuff is going to stop. Speaking of 83, Freezer, right? Not only is Freezer 47, but Freezer is also 83, like murder. And they're supposed to be found her children on the 83rd day of the year, on March 14th, on March 24th. Freezer is also 106, like Black. They use the same numbers. Look, Black is Freezer and Black is 106 and 34. 106 was a big number in the George Floyd killing, right? I Can't Breathe is 106. They use the same numbers in all these rituals. These are all part of these sick mind control tactics that they have for us. This is why we can't walk outside without the police stopping us or without people looking at us. If you're a black person in New York, you can't walk outside at night. That's one of the reasons, for years, cab drivers would not stop for black people in the Bronx. For years. These stories they play a big part in that, in the mindset of the people. Oh, look what this black mother did. She killed her 2 children. Shit is crazy, disgusting. Yeah, so look into her case. Watch her interviews if you're interested. If you're not, just know that what you're watching, it's all a fairy tale. It's all a movie. Okay? I know it seems real because, a lot of us are trained to believe in the mainstream. But it's not. This was a big 47 ritual. I mean, just ask yourself, you think this is a coincidence? They found the bodies 47 days before her birthday. Freezer's 47. Her daughter's name is 47. Both in the same cipher. They found Stony Blair in a freezer 47 days before her mother's birthday. You guys think that's a coincidence? It's not. Stop believing the mainstream. These people are out to deceive us every single day. It's crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But thank God for this code because we see right through it every single time. Like today, right? Today they announced that this track runner passed away at the age of 26. All right? Notice what his name sums to in Gematria, 67 and 86, like blood sacrifice. And his father is a man named Leroy Burrell. His son died 170 days after his father's birthday and sacrifices 170. This stuff goes on every single day. Every single day. They're saying that he had a dispute at a parking garage that ended up in his death. I don't know exactly what happened. They're not giving out any details, but 170 days after his father's birthday, who was also an Olympian, also a track star himself. It says here that he set the world record for the 100-meter sprint twice. So, rituals are after rituals. And this is during the time of the Olympics. This man dies, right? Coincidentally. But yeah, so Mitchelle Blair. A lot of her videos have millions and millions of views. And yet, not one of those people that probably saw any of those videos know about this code. So, I bet you this video about Mitchelle Blair won't get 1 million views. I bet you that. Because the 47 crew won't allow it. So, thanks everybody, and I'm gonna come back and talk about some sports. We been killing the baseball, so I'm gonna talk about that. If I don't talk about it tonight, I'll definitely come back tomorrow and talk about it. Somebody said the Blair Witch Project. I did think about that as when I first decoded the story. I was wondering if it was connected to the Blair Witch Project film, but I didn't see anything that stood out. Because that's how they do it, too. They connect it to films and, oh, man, Grant Roger. I haven't seen Grant Roger in a long time. What's going on, Grant Roger? Okay, so, yeah, so Shikosi, he brought up the 804. Masonry is 84, right? So that's probably why they found the bodies at apartment 804, huh? And that's also the Jesuit number. What's going on? Trey Hobbs. Gotta make Trey Hobbs a moderator. So, yeah. All right, so you guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And if I do come back today, I'll see you guys later. If I don't, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.